Morning. A very, very warm welcome to everyone. Your Excellencies, Prime Minister, ministers, and distinguished guests. I'm sure many of you recognize this piece as presented by our two excellent performers, Spiegel im Spiegel by Arvo Pärt. Arvo Pärt is one of the most played composers in the world, living composers in the world for the greater part of the last decade. And the piece that was played was called Spiegel im Spiegel. Arvo Pärt just celebrated his 90th birthday last month. So this is a very symbolic song that we were playing. And it represents a very important symbol and a very important statement, meaning that order in the body and mind can only be carried through peace. Please give another round of applause to Viola Asoskova on the piano and Lo Arugas on cello. Your Excellencies, Prime Minister, ministers, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is an honor to welcome you to this edition of the Tallinn Digital Summit. My name is Sandra Särav, and it is my great honor to be, for the 4th year in a row, your Master of Ceremonies for this 8th edition of the Tallinn Digital Summit. The summit has been held in Estonia since the EU presidency we held in 2017. However, the idea is that it's not only an annual conference, it's not only an annual meetup where we come and we talk. This is actually a shared platform where we can jointly shape new rules and new ideas how to approach new technologies. During the last edition of the summit, which was held last year, one of the focus points was resilient technologies. We heard on the stage how every day we have 600 million cyber attacks. We also heard how our adversaries can use technologies to copy and paste them and put them on the market as fast as a month. However, in democratic societies, such as all of ours, it sometimes only takes 6 months to go through a procurement process. We cannot let this happen with artificial intelligence. This is why we're here today, for a pragmatic dialogue. And if you read the concept note for the event, this is precisely what it's supposed to be, a pragmatic dialogue on how we can jointly create frameworks for responsible, scalable, interoperable AI across our companies, across our countries, and worldwide. And we don't only talk about the use of AI in tech, but in governance, in education, in economy, in finance, in security, and of course in defense. So we could jointly be faster, smarter, more healthy, more efficient, and more secure. It is meaningful that today we are in this very, very symbolic location. During 1918, when Estonia first declared its independence, it was also the year when the National Library of Estonia, where we are today, was opened. It has embodied our national determination to safeguard knowledge first and foremost, identity, and democratic values. It is also an honor to be here today because this venue will be opened for the wider public only in 2027. So we are very privileged to be here today. And this location also stands as a very important location because of what happened in 2007. So just next to the National Library, there's a park where a bronze soldier statue was removed in 2007, resulting in the April unrests of Estonia, also resulting in cyber attacks. And cyber attacks which were the first held against a nation state by another nation state. And these cyber attacks at the time made Estonia stand out when we talked about the topic of cybersecurity. And not only Estonia, but the EU and NATO started taking cybersecurity more and more seriously. Standing here today reminds us how far we have come from the year 2007 and how the challenges today in 2025 are different yet similar. And now looking ahead, looking what will we be speaking about today and how those challenges have changed, it is my pleasure to invite to the stage Sten Saluver, who is the director of Tallinn Digital Summit and will be joining me to introduce you to today's program. Sten, please.
Thank you, Sandra.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Tere hommikust, good morning. Your Excellencies, Prime Minister, ministers, distinguished guests. As Sandra said, the challenges what we face today in autumn 25 are of course fundamentally different than those of 2007. As Sandra noted, here in Estonia, but also in elsewhere, we have moved from defending against cyber attacks to a new reality. AI is no longer a futuristic concept, a prompt line in your computer, or a personal assistant. It is a powerful tool that can drive unprecedented innovation and growth, but it's also a grand power to offend, but as well as defend our democracies here in Estonia, in Europe, and in front lines of Ukraine. At the same time, the hybrid attempts that we face every day aim to dismantle our values and democracies are unprecedentedly intensifying. The simple reality is that those who master AI will write the rules of tomorrow. Well, what is our task then for these 2 days here together? First, we will confront together the new reality of AI-powered geopolitical security and defense domain and the urgent need for sovereign resilience. The modern conflict zone is being reshaped by AI with efficiency, precision, and decision-making. We will really look at the next frontiers of AI-driven capabilities across continents, but also debating not very soon here on code, conflict, and cooperation in that domain. And ultimately, we will examine the hard choices that we face as nations. Do we outsource, chase our own strategies, or build together a new doctrine of AI-driven Europe? Secondly, of course, we will debate on AI's impact on governments and everything on autonomous procurement to public services across the globe, as we will also look at the viability of the hottest topic of today, AI-driven agentic state. Well, can indeed then AI systems be able to perceive, reason, and act with minimal human supervision and fundamentally reshape how our governments operate today and tomorrow? So the task here, I think, is very challenging, but obviously very rewarding, to build a public sector that is not only lean, smart, but also accountable for delivering tangible societal benefits for all. Thirdly, economy and competitiveness. AI has become the primary engine of economic power, here, there, and everywhere. But here in Europe, again, we confront the essential challenge of rebooting our competitiveness. Well, despite our urgent needs and statements for AI, defense, and innovation and startup capacities, we often seem to face this second-class scaling problem, where billions of venture capital are sitting idle, where our most promising startups and innovators strive for funding or exit elsewhere. And these discussions will be the heart of our leadership debate stage next to this hall. And finally, underlining all of this are the foundational pillars of trust, alliances, and perhaps most critically, future talent at our present crossroads. As you might see already, Estonia is taking a bold step with its AI Leap or Tiger Jump initiative, which is a nationwide program to fully integrate AI tools and literacy into the national education system. So the questions within 3 pillars and elsewhere are very urgent, and the stakes could not be higher. So, over the next 2 days, let us engage, debate, dialogue all together to build the frameworks of the future that is not only efficient, resilient, but also democratic and secure. Sandra.
Thank you so much. Now, before we get to the interesting part, Sten, this is for you.
Thank you.
Before we get to the interesting part, a few organizational details. We are live streaming this event. Thank you for joining us online. We have 3 stages with over 100 speakers. The first block of the event is being live streamed to all of the 3 stages. So if you cannot find space in this hall, then please feel free to use the other halls or the lobby area where you can find headphones. Wi-Fi is Digital Summit. But we use the opportunistic wireless encryption, so encrypted and secure without needing to use a password. Please use hashtag TDS2025 for social media posts. We use Slido for questions, and our networking platform is called Brella.
Yes, the TDS, of course, is always about you, our distinguished speakers and delegates. So I'm sure these conversations will go out into the beautiful venues of the National Library, which, by the way, is on many stages. But in order to take the max out of these conversations, question, debate, and networking, then we've set up for the first time in the history of TDS our own networking platform, Brella. You'll be able to follow the live stream, chat with fellow attendees, book meetings. The meetings room is on the 3rd floor, as well as in our lounges. So please check your inboxes again for the Brella invitations, and let these conversations continue.